today's show, we find out how media personality Natalie Becker is finding great success by stepping out of her comfort zones. The sultry and sophisticated voice of Natalie Becker has been familiar to Cape Town radio listeners for a number of years. This TV personality, speaker, writer, style icon, and award-winning international film actress may be stepping away from the microphone for a little bit, but that doesn't mean that she's leaving behind the lessons that she learned in radio.
I'd studied economics and industrial psychology at UCT, and I also got involved with UCT radio where the bug really bit. Radio complemented my life in so many ways. I learned how to speak properly, how to project my voice, how to contemplate, how to interact with people. Radio's theatre of the mind. I learned how to use my imagination. I learned how to listen, because you get a lot of people calling in. So it definitely helped my television work as well. And really you're speaking to thousands, hundreds and thousands of people, but when you open the mic and you're speaking, you speak to one person, every person individually. So it's very intimate, very immediate. It's a beautiful medium. What Free Spirit tries to do is promote tolerance and awareness and their values, and promote conscious living really resonated with my philosophy about life. And then we met up, I became their presenter. So that's it from all of us here at Free Spirit. I started acting about 7 or 8 years ago with the movie Manhunt, The Red Phone, with Arnold Vosloo, big action movie. I filmed The Scorpion King 2 with Universal Pictures about 2 years ago, and my role was that of Astarte, the goddess of love and war. I also was in the movie The World Unseen, which was a South African English collaboration. And it was a wonderful movie. It won 11 awards at the SAFTAs earlier this year, and I won an award for it for Best Supporting Actress. It's also won a number of awards internationally, and it was a fantastic movie because there were so many talented actors locally and internationally, and it was a real labor of love for the director and producer. Wow. Good evening. I filmed The Deal with Meg Ryan and William Macy. It was a great movie, co-written by William Macy, and the man's got funny bones. He is just funny, whether he's on set or off set. It was a great experience working with him. He is one of my favorite actors. And then I filmed Disgrace, based on the J.M. Coetzee novel with John Malkovich, which was an incredible experience. Such a masterful actor, and I just learned so much.
Using her celebrity and success as a platform, she's championing causes closest to her heart and making a real difference in the lives of those she speaks to.
I know Natalie to be a leader. I've watched her in the public space for a while, and I recognize that she took quite a bit of personal risk being in such a public space. And as leaders, I think we need to learn how to take risk. And I think we need to learn how to step outside of our own boundaries and limitations. And in Natalie's case, I was starting to observe that this was happening for her. She was starting to stretch herself. She was starting to, cross boundaries, I guess, without finding the need to break down barriers. And I think that's an incredible skill a leader needs to have. And so I saw that in Natalie. I also think that she brings very interesting and different perspectives. At the time when I was talking to her to apply for the program, I had recruited most of the group already. And I knew there was a dynamic that I could find with Natalie that I didn't have in the group. And Natalie is committed. She actually shows up, which I think is interesting, because leaders are often on a platform where they don't show up. They produce rhetoric and conversations that they think you want to hear. And I think Natalie is very committed to being truthful and to being honest and authentic every single time. And I really admire that about her. The other thing about Natalie is that she is not afraid to have a conversation that may be a tough conversation. And I remember when we started the program, I said to the group, when you come to a common purpose engagement, please don't bring your pretty face. Now in Natalie's case, that's not hard to do. She has a pretty face. But I realize that there's so much more when you look past that and you see beyond that the individual person. And I also think that often people decide things about you if you're a leader. And, you know, I think one of the things one gets to do is to write your own press release, really. And I think Natalie's starting to do that. She's starting to take ownership for the space she occupies in society. She's pushed some other people's boundaries, and I always welcome that. I think she's a very authentic person. She's quite spiritual, and many of the people in the group are, and then some aren't. So I love the idea of the contrast. She's also a young person. And age is a factor of diversity in the group. The oldest person in the group this year is 60. We have also a range of sectors represented in the group. We have a young black ballet dancer, for example. We have a singer. We have someone who runs an NGO in the performing arts sector. And we have Natalie, who is in the media, and she's an actress. And she's actually so versatile, I could start to talk about all the titles we can add to her, and yet when she comes here on a common purpose engagement, that's just Natalie Becker.
I think that with power comes responsibility, and you know, often people look at people in media and they look at people who perhaps are in the limelight and they see the whole fame thing going on, or star or celebrity, and yes, being in the public eye is one part of that. I do believe that if you have the skills to contribute, to be able to contribute, yes, then that is part of what you should be doing. And I don't prescribe to anyone, but for me, that's what feels authentic. The platforms that I do have, I do believe that they are a gift, and I'd like to be able to use them and to have collaborations where I'm able to use that to effect meaningful and significant and positive change in my environment, at least. I was introduced to Jin Shin Jitsu about 7 years ago into Mary Lavender, and what Jin Shin Jitsu does for me is it balances my mind, body and spirit. I live quite a fast-paced lifestyle. It's quite frenetic. I like to do a number of different things, and sometimes in the daily living of life one becomes it can be quite stressful, and there are times when one doesn't know how to deal with certain things, or you don't deal with things properly, or stress builds up and it affects different parts of your psyche, your emotions, and also your body. You feel it in your body. So our intuition talks to us, and then our body talks to us. And with Jin Shin Jitsu, it balances and removes energy blockages. Whenever you make a choice or you respond to someone or to something or a situation where it makes you happy or whether it challenges you or annoys you, you have to be very conscious of whether you're choosing from a place of love or from a place of fear. I think what I've learned to do through challenges and through really wonderful, happy times that I'm grateful for is to count my blessings and to try and live in a state of love and gratitude. For me, the power within would mean literally that there is external power and we have internal power. External power is transient. It's often an illusion. It's there, but if we vest our power really in external things and that becomes what defines us, then really we have no power. Oh, I know that. Thank you so much. That's the name of my character in Atlantis, and this is my dressing room, so you can't come in.